Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Enough channel. In this video, we're going to review week 18 of the 2025-26 Supercoach NBA season, as well as preview week 19. So, another good week for NBA Supercoach, for myself anyway. Scoring 1182, which was top 2% for the round. Seeing me move up another 140 spots overall, so just outside the top 1500. Let's have a look at the squad. So we had Luka Doncic as captain, and he scored a 143, so a very solid score. Tyron Maxey, unfortunately, only scored 78, has got a finger injury, so does have 5 games listed this week, but I think he'll miss the first 2. But then given the Sixers haven't got too much there behind him, they might need him back sooner rather than later. Williams we brought in as a cheapie, didn't get a start, so that's a bit flat. Cunningham only got the 59 this week, so that wasn't quite what we were after. Eamon Thompson, though, was good with a 139. Jokic, 121 of 3 games, very solid for him. Kevin Durant with a 102, so turned up there. Newport with a very solid 72, has lost a little bit of cash, but has done a great job for us. Jackson, so made a bit more cash, 55 this week, has 4 games, but his time might be up with us. Towns with a 129, solid. Şengün with that 87, not ideal. And then Wemby with 168. Unfortunately, we had him as the VC, so we missed out on 25 points there, but still doing pretty well overall. So the matchups from last week. So we beat Al's dream team in the first league with an 842. He had Jokic and Durant as well in the VC and C slots, but Porter Jr. from Brooklyn, 63. Derek White with an 81. Pritchard with 66. So lots of solid scores, but you compare them to my tons. That obviously made the difference there. And then top score in the league was no harm, no foul. Aaron's team, 1230. Yep, few in the 1200s, but Aaron got there just. So had Towns, Jokic, Maxey, Kawhi Leonard with a 131. Had the same setup for captain, vice captain. Had Eamon Thompson, Kevin Durant. Yes, I guess Kawhi Leonard probably the difference maker there with a 131. In the second league, had another good win over Giddy Up Cowpokes, Mark's team, with an 836. So Captain Towns, which was good. Had Shepherd and Murphy both ton up. I think that would have been a relatively, maybe not Murphy, but Shepherd was cheap. So that's a very good get, 101. But other than that, not too much to write home about there. And then looks like I actually scored the top in this league. So pretty rare, but I'll take it. All right, other players that went good this week. So we had 4 of the top 5, only missing out on Kawhi Leonard. Banchero with a 125 was solid. Bam Adebayo, so we traded him out previously, but a 119 for him. Filipowski from Utah with a 118. Interesting mid-pricer this week with 4 games. A few of the Miami guys went well this week. Khalil Ware, Tyler Hero. Must have had a good fixture this week. Anthony Edwards, I think he'll be a pretty popular trade-in this week with 4 games. But no real surprises. Reed Shepherd, probably the highest scoring under 10 mil. So maybe not a lot of cheapy options at this time of year. Russell Westbrook, 84. Can he go on a run on 4 games this week? So Giannis saw he's back, but then I did see as well he's got an injury, might miss some time this week, so not too sure what's going on there. Um, Reynord, we had him earlier in the season. 80 points was handy. But yeah, really nothing going on in the cheapie category until we get to Julian Reese. Power forward scored 75 this week in his first sort of run in the team. Yeah, nothing too much to write home about there. If we have a look at break evens, can't imagine there'll be a great deal on offer. So Julian Reese, so Alondes Williams, Jonathan Kaminga, we bought in both because they had the nice break even. Neither of them played. I'm not even sure what happened to Williams. Doesn't look like he's on the depth chart currently. Kaminga should be back from injury shortly. Um, so maybe Jabari Walker. So the Sixers do have 5 games this week, as we talked about previously. And with the injuries there, maybe gets a bit more game time, hence the 62 points this week, despite averaging 7 points for the season. So could be a little downgrade option there to chase the last bit of cash. But I guess for my team this week, I think we have to get the full premium going. So Newple's done well this season, but yeah, 3 games this week, and Jackson's got a good bit of cash on his head, albeit he's probably just about peaked 52 break even. He's got 4 games this week, averaging 13 fours, 52. So we'll try and upgrade, downgrade one. So the downgrade I think is pretty easy, Jabari Walker, which then gives us 19 mil, so we can grab, basically anyone we want. And I think the obvious one is Kawhi Leonard. So I just realised I haven't loaded up the schedules. But if we have a look this week, so Philadelphia on 5 here. So if we look at the Clippers, they've actually got 4 games for every week except for week 22. I think the best schedule is the Grizzlies, so they've got 4 games all the way through till the end of the season. But if we do some filtering and look at the options at Memphis and go by summary so we can get the average, there's not a lot that inspires there. Edie's currently injured. Ty Jerome averaging 21, so probably Jackson was doing all right, but yeah, he's done his bit for us. So yeah, so the upgrade downgrade to sort of get us to a situation where we're pretty full in terms of our full team. So some people might say with Maxi injured, do we trade it out? Um, I'd suggest not, just because I guess if we do um, unfilter Memphis, so we get everyone back and filter by average. So obviously you've got SGA slightly higher average on 3 games, but we can't afford to upgrade with the current trade. Um, Giannis, again, we can't really do a one-for-one swap with Towns or Şengün. We're not trading Wemby or Jokic at this point. Um, so next one, Jalen Johnson only has 3 games this week. Probably not worth worrying about. Edwards has 4. Mitchell has 4. And the other one, Jamal Murray, has 4. They're all shooting guards. So we can look at, trading one of Thompson um, or, one of the power forwards. Um, so I guess it sort of just depends on how you want to shape the team. Um, so, yeah, so I guess the obvious ones are the Houston guys because they only have 3 games this week. But after this week, so yeah, so we're on the right one there. I actually have 4 games to end the season. So it's a case of if you want to get them back in, um, we might not want to sub them out. So, and if we have a look at, say, shooting guard, for example, um, so Eamon Thompson's averaging 25. We might be able to get a little bit more out of an Edwards and Mitchell. But if we look at their rosters, or their schedules, I should say, the Cavs have four and then back to back threes. Minnesota have fours, except for in round, will that be 21 for our league? They've got a two gamer. And then Denver's very similar. They've got a two gamer, but it is in week 22. So, we could look at those options. Yes, we do have a bit of flexibility through small forward and power forward, so we'll sort of lump them in together. So obviously the clear one there is Giannis. Jalen Johnson is only on three, so not worth worrying about. Scotty Barnes is averaging 27, has four games this week. What's Toronto's schedule like? So three next week, and then 4-4-4. So that's probably the best schedule we've seen from the remaining teams, or the teams that we've sort of looked at players from. And then after that, it's kind of a throw at the stumps. So what I'm thinking is we potentially look at Şengün to Barnes with the sort of hope that eventually that spot will become Giannis anyway, so we're not losing that much. Actually, what's Milwaukee's schedule's good too. So 19. No, so we either need to downgrade from Leonard, who's got the great schedule. So yeah, we can't get Giannis. It'd have to be Durant, which doesn't work anyway because we could move. Well, but then we're playing one of these guys on the bench, basically. Yeah. So I think that's the play. Is I haven't done the trade yet, so uh, we'll trade out Şengün. Durant can move forward, so we can slot Scotty Barnes in at small forward. We'll complete the trade so we can move Walker off the field. And so then I guess the hope is next week we can use Kaminga's money, um, to potentially get Giannis in for the run home if he pulls up fully fit. And then after that, I think we're pretty close to a full sort of team. So maybe if we can upgrade Eamon Thompson at some stage, that would be nice. But averaging 25, we'll cop that in the shooting guard position. So then just vice captain, captain this week. I think captain's pretty obvious. We've brought him in, so we'll VC Kawhi Leonard. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, there's the team for this week. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the NBA content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.